obviously on the other side of the fence and believes the Earth is a sphere. How you doing, Charles? Good to have you.
I'm doing quite well. Let me know if my microphone's like too hot.
Perfect. You're absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, and thank you so much for hosting and for allowing me on the panel. I appreciate your generosity and your kind manners. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
So yeah, there seems to be a big tempest about my latest video, which was on how to measure the observer height above the water. And I just want to make clear, Nathan, that I'm not supposing that the Earth has any radius. In fact, I fully acknowledge that the Earth appears to be flat and the horizon appears to be essentially at eye level, and that's really what I was going with. Those calculators, those are for people who believe the Earth is a globe, which you may be talking to one right now, but that had nothing to do with my video. So
yeah, it had everything to do with your video.
How so?
Well, you said the maths starts with the eye height.
No, I said an important part of an important tool in the debate.
No, you said
and
the
I might
maths
not have used
starts
those
with the
words
eye height.
exactly, but that's what I meant.
Oh, that's a shame,
tool
because the maths doesn't start with the eye height. The maths starts with the presupposition that you're on a sphere.
No,
Yeah, it does.
No, it actually
it does.
So
yeah,
the
it
Earth
does.
could be
It
flat.
does start with the presupposition. You have this R value.
Earth
That's
could be
why I
flat.
challenged you to prove R, that value in the calculation. So do you have that proof?
But that wasn't the point of the video.
I don't care what your proof
didn't make
was. The calculations that you used had a presupposition attached to them. That presupposition was a radius, Charles. That's why my challenge was to prove the presuppositional part of your mathematics that you said it started with.
But it's not my mathematics.
Pardon?
The mathematics I showed on the screen, most of those math assumed that the Earth was flat.
No.
math
I
had
saw
on
a
the
calculator
screen.
that assumed a radius.
Yeah, but all I was acknowledging was that if you use that calculator, viewer height is important. You don't have to use the calculator.
Right, you said it started with the viewer
I'm a little
height.
confused by Nathan.
No, I'm not confused by anything. You said it starts with the viewer height, and I corrected you and pointed out that it starts with a presupposition that you're on a sphere.
No, Nathan. I think
yes, it does. It starts with an assumed radius, the value R, the value I've challenged you to come here and prove. So do you have proof of this radius, Charles?
Well, I think you're missing. I think you're missing the point.
I don't think I am missing the point. You're trying to focus on things further down the calculation, claiming that it starts with the eye height of the observer. And I'm saying no. Those calculations start with the presupposition that you have a radius. That is what I'm asking you to prove.
So the thing is, if you use that calculator regularly, and I watch the flat Earth debates a lot, and you either cite the calculator or you put it on screen, or you talk about the results from those calculators, either the Metabuck one or the GitHub one. And so I'm constantly watching you using these calculators. I don't think I've seen a single episode where you haven't used those calculators. That's all I was saying, is that if you're using those calculators, it's kind of important to know an accurate eye height.
And I'm saying that if you use those calculators, you presuppose that you are on a sphere, and it has a value attached to it, Charles. That value would be a
why do you use those
radius.
calculators, Nathan?
Why do I use them? Because
Yes.
apparently the whole body of science backs this R value, the one I've asked you to prove.
Yeah, that's a matter of social proof. Forget the body of science. I'm willing to throw the body of science out the window. I'm literally
really?
I'm willing to start
really?
with a
Well,
blank slate.
science, Charles, is a study of the natural world. Now, you might be willing to throw all that out the window, but me, I'm very interested in what science has to say on this subject.
Okay, so you use a calculator, which is based on a value of R. So you're choosing to use that calculator. It wasn't me telling you to use it. You're choosing to use it.
So
Me?
what
I
calculator
didn't use
did
it.
you use then?
You used it.
Well,
You used it, Charles.
I make all my own
You
formulas.
used it and then claimed that it was very important to get the correct eye height when using these calculators. You failed to point
Nathan,
out that they
Nathan, I hope you
presuppose a
acknowledge-
value that you have no evidence of.
Yeah, but I'm not making a claim whether that calculator is valid.
Oh, really? So, Charles, the natural world that we observe, the one we live on, is it a sphere?
Well, I collect evidence and I draw my own conclusion.
Is
I'm
that a
not- I
yes
can't
or a
tell
no?
you what
The
to
natural
conclude.
world that we live on,
The whole
Charles,
point of my
is the
channel-
natural world that we live on a sphere? Yes or No.
get people to get outside and to measure things. And one of those measurements you could do is an accurate eye height.
Right, and then we can plug it into a calculator that presupposes we're on a sphere, correct?
You can use whatever calculator you want.
Right? Why are we using any calculator?
You want? You can say
what calculator you use in your video.
A...
That's what I'm taking issue with, Charles. You use a calculator claiming that we're on a sphere to begin with as proof we're on a sphere, and then tell us how important it is to measure the eye height. And I'm saying that's very disingenuous if you have no proof of the R value in your calculator.
Where did I use it?
He just said he doesn't use the R value in his calculations.
Oh, did he say he doesn't use the R value?
In my video where I used the R height, with the exception of when I talked about the globe Earth believers, then that's the only time I used the eye height.
And are you one of those globe Earth believers, Charles?
All the calculations in my video, Nathan,
would that be your position, Charles? Would that be your position?
All the calculations in my video assumed the Earth was flat.
Sorry, Charles, I'm not interested in how you misrepresent our argument. Your side of the argument, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the natural world is spherical, correct?
No, that's not my argument at all. That is 100% not my argument.
So you don't believe the Earth is a sphere?
I have 4.5 hours of original content and not 1 minute.
I'm not asking you if you have content. Try and listen to my question. Do you believe the natural world is a sphere, yes or no?
But the thing is, that's like asking somebody if they believe if Jesus Christ is risen.
No, we have the whole body of science that asserts we have a value of R. That value of R is in reference to a sphere. Now I'm asking you if you, Charles, specifically believe the natural world we observe is a sphere, yes or no.
So, but Nathan, why are you?
What does belief have to do with it?
Why are you dodging this question?
Why is it so hard to get an answer? Why does a person? Yeah, he just won't anscer the question.
The reason
Nathan
why I'm not answering, and you guys
pressing.
don't know this, is because you absolutely know what I consider the Earth to be, right? So the fact that you're asking me that question, it's a rhetorical question.
No, it's not.
Why won't you
I'm not
say
going to
it?
answer a
No,
rhetorical
there's
question.
187 people watching, Charles, who may not have... Let's not get delusions of grandeur here, Charles. Not everybody knows who you are. There's 187 people watching.
Even if he believes in the ball, what does it matter?
It matters because his calculations he refers to are when presupposed we're on a sphere, and they have a value for it. The radius, coincidentally, the value that is presupposed, the value I take issue with, the value he has no proof of.
Presupposing is not the same thing.
Nathan, can I just say that I want to catch up with Flat Earth Math before the end of the show? So give me enough time to ask him one question.
I'll yield now because you've got about 6 minutes.
That's not my opinion.
Go ahead.
I've got to run. Nathan, I've got to run, but I want to thank you for having a debate like this. It's fantastic, and I just want to use this opportunity to let anybody know that if they want to debate contrary of these 4 points, 1, that Earth is flat. So if you want to debate the contrary of that, 2, that the AE map and model does not work. If you want to debate the contrary of that, 3, if I say we're in a simulation. If you want to debate the contrary of that, or 4, that the creator of this world is the God of the Bible. So if you want to debate beyond that. So I've got those 4 main things that I'm always ready to debate anybody on that wants to debate the contrary side of it. But thank you, guys.
That's going to be very hard. I agree with all of those points. So.
Thanks, Jason. Pleasure having
you. I'm not
you.
sure about the simulation, but everything. But whatever.
And I actually believe with you on 2.5 of those. So well stated.
Well, that's good. That's good, guys.
Thanks, Jason. Anthony, did you want to lever your question at Charles before we run out of time?
Go ahead, Anthony. I wanted to ask one question before everybody left, but go ahead.
Flat Earth Math, why are you telling your subs that you think that I'm actually 6 to 8 feet above the water in my most recent video where I showed that the camera was mounted to the beach, on the sand on the beach, and there's no way on Cat's Earth that this could possibly be 6 to 8 feet above the water? Why would you lie like that?
So you'll have trouble finding anywhere where I lied. I clearly identified your camera as being sitting on the sand. I said it on screen. I said it in the narration. It was multiple times. I said your camera was on the sand. So I did not misrepresent any of that.
So how do you get?
All I'm using, Sleeping Warrior. All I'm using is the visual evidence, and that was really the whole point of the whole first half of the first 2/3 of the video.
I'm guessing, is that right?
No. Well, I'm estimating it's 9 feet. I can tell you I can tell you for a fact it's not 1 foot. For a fact,
could
it's
you
not
do me
1
a
foot.
favor?
I've been there. I can tell you for a fact it's less than a foot. It's inches, the relief on that bit of beach. There's none there. It's flat as a pancake. It goes out unbelievably quickly because there's so little relief. So as the tide drops, bang, it's gone. At the high bit where there is relief, it takes an eternity to go up and down. On that low bit where there's sand, it just disappears. And it is flat as anything. So telling me that it's not flat, it's just complete and utter nonsense. So I'm not having that. Not 1 second.
I've publicly laughed at you about it. Flat Earth Math. Arwin, could you do me a favor? Could you add that sound effect that you were talking about before for the benefit of Flat Earth Math? He thinks I'm at 9 feet above water.
No way.
Arwin, could you do it for me? Is he here? Oh, he sniped him, hasn't he?
Snipe?
Hey,
Oh no!
before the show's over.
Could you do that? Could you do that sound effect for the benefit?
Me, yo, don't kick me, Nathan.
I'm not kicking anybody.
Flat Earth Math thinks I'm 9 feet above the water. Arwin, could you say that? Could you do that sound effect for me?
9 feet above? What? Oh, bullshit, you mean?
Yeah, do it proper.
Bullshit.
Thank you very much, Arwin. Flat Earth Math, I am less than 1 foot above the actual water. Stop lying about me and apply the evidence that you can see. I am on the sand. Stop being a retard.
Before it's over, before this is over, listen, I listened to a debate with Wonton and Rumpus the other day, and they pinned Wonton to the ground with one question. Tell me something that science is dogmatic about. Wonton could not answer it, and that is a good question. What is one thing that science is dogmatic about?
Refraction.
The truth.
Space.
At least the original
Gravity.
concept of science. The scientific community is
Gravity.
dogmatic about a lot of things.
Axial rotation.
Okay, well, if you listen to that debate, they pinned him on that, man, because he answered with 9/11. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Pancake theory.
Right.
Arwin needs a sound effect here at this point.
So the point of my video was to determine viewer height, Sleeping Warrior, and I go through the whole geometry. If the horizon's at eye level or 1/100th of a degree, below eye level, essentially eye level, then anything that intersects the horizon in your visual field, you can actually use that to measure the viewer height. And I haven't heard anybody refute any of that. All the talk has been about R.
Yeah, because it is a presupposition. Do you understand what a presupposition is?
Well, no, but I mean, we're just talking about viewer height above the water. Okay, the Earth is flat. Okay, the Earth is flat. The horizon's at eye level. So I'm estimating that your height to be 9 feet above the water.
Well, we've debunked
Right,
the
so
height
no
that
one-
we
no one
don't
said anything
claim.
about-
Do you see him creating a straw man and saying the Earth is flat, therefore the horizon is at eye level? And we don't claim that. We've spent quite a considerable amount of time, Charles, debunking that assertion by proving that we have an apparent horizon. So what the hell are you talking about? Why are you creating this straw man that we have this argument that it's at eye level when we don't claim that here?
Well, under different weather conditions, the horizon can be blurry. It could have a mirage. You can, be kind of
Sorry,
fuzzy.
do you want me to repeat my
Um,
question? Why are you making
sure.
this assertion that if the horizon is at eye level, something we categorically do not state here, having debunked it and proved that it's an apparent horizon, would you use that as your measuring tool?
Well, most of the time you can see the horizon. Sometimes it's blurry.
Do you need me
but
to
most
say it a
of the time you
third
can see
time?
it
I
nice
don't
and
need to know
clear.
what we can see. It's in a photograph. Why would
Yes.
you use an apparent horizon as a measuring tool, Charles?
So, like I said, under clear conditions, the horizon you can
Sorry,
actually,
clear
it looks like a
conditions.
ruler.
Apparently we've
Okay,
got
the
slightly
horizon looks like a
looming
ruler.
non-standard refraction hyena conditions, you stupid man. What are you talking about standard conditions now? We've got a rumpus on the
not
panel
standard,
telling
I'm
us that
saying
we've got
clear.
refraction that is beyond
Clear
belief, curving it in unbelievable ways, and now you're telling me what standard conditions do. I'm telling
didn't
you,
say standard, I
Charles,
said
we
clear.
have debunked the
Clear
assertion that we have a horizon that is in a fixed position and useful for measurements. My question is, why would you use such a spurious thing to make measurements from?
So if you're looking at the, Skunk Bay footage where it's like just a massive distortion the whole day, okay? That's one thing. But if you're looking at, for example, the video that's on the screen right now, has a pretty clear horizon. I mean, it's a little fuzzy, but most of the time, or I should say a lot of the time, the horizon looks like a ruler with no distortion. And if there's no distortion present, then I think you can kind of use it as a measuring tool.
Oh, right. You think you can kind of use it as a measuring tool? That sounds very accurate, Mr. Maths. Unbelievable garbage. And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully for sharing this debate. And also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!